the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to go to the Slice Select tool for this, is I'm going to double click on my slice. So I double clicked on this portfolio image right here, and the next thing I want to do is I want to name all of my slices. So I'm going to call this nav underscore portfolio, and you do want to be conscious about naming your images something that obviously makes sense, because it'll make it much easier for you to identify your images. I'm going to call this the LB logo. Over here I'm going to call this one nav main for our main navigation. Double click here. This will be, I'm going to call portfolio image. Okay, down here I'll call this my subnav underscore portfolio. And then over here finally we'll call this quote underscore portfolio. Okay, so you want to be sure to not get in the habit of just letting your images be named by a default image. You want to be sure to name them. Okay, so now I have sliced, I have named them, and my final step here is going to be to optimize them. So here I go up to my menu called File and go down to Save for Web and Devices. And we've already talked about how to save images for the web using Photoshop. So it's very similar here, except you're actually optimizing several images at the same time. So again, using your little Slice Select tool that is located here in the upper left, I'm going to select this image, that's my portfolio navigation, and then looking over here on the right hand side, I want to set my web optimization, and we know because it's a graphic that it needs to be a GIF, so it is already set at GIF, but we want to reduce some of our color information, and I can probably easily go down to 8 colors and still be good with this, since there is not a lot of color in it. So now I'm going to click onto my logo and again do the same thing. Here I probably would still be good with 8. I could maybe even go to less colors than that, but that still is going to give me a nice small file size in weight for that logo. Then I click on my main nav here, and again here I'm going to go up to 16 colors, because as you can see I have quite a few more colors, so I'd probably keep this around 16 or maybe even 32 colors for my main navigation. And now here in the center, notice that my setting is still set here on GIF, but we know because this is a photograph that this should not be saved out as a GIF. It should be saved out as a JPEG. So I'm going to switch that and choose JPEG. And then my quality here is already set at 60%, which is also has a preset of high, which is about right. That is normally where you want to keep your quality level. You might be able to go down to 40, somewhere between 40, 50 to 60% quality, but I'm going to keep this on the 60. And then let me just show you one other thing. You can optimize images several at one time. So I'm going to select this subnav, and I'm also going to select, and I'm holding down my shift key here, this quote, and you'll notice that they're both selected, and you can tell because they have sort of that orange highlight on them. And because they're so similar, I can use the same optimization settings. So I'm going to again pick GIF, and I can again probably go down to 8 colors. So that's just a simple way to, if you have a lot of images on your page and they all have the same optimization settings, you can choose them at the same time and set them all at once. Okay, so now I have completed my 3 stages, which is the slicing, the naming, the optimizing. Okay, so now I'm ready to hit my save button and to save these for web. So I'm going to hit save. Okay, and you're going to get this window. Now, up here it says Save As, and at this point, because you're saving out several images at one time, you can pretty much disregard this. This is really only important if you're doing one image. And down here under Format, I am going to pick Images Only. I'm going to do, I have another video where I will show you how to save out HTML in images. It's for the Cupcake Mama site, saving out the navigation only. That's in another video. But right now we're only going to save out images. For settings, we're going to say default settings because we've set all of our settings, and we're going to pick, instead of all slices, we're going to select all user slices. And why that's important is all user slices is going to save out just the slices that we named. You'll notice that there are these grayed out boxes here, like the slice under this main JPEG image. If we choose all slices, Photoshop is going to save out every single box here, or slice here on the page, and we only want the ones that we created and we named. So we're going to select all user slices. Now, where do you save your slices? I recommend that students save their slices in their, obviously in their folder structure. We have our final web folder and our source file folder. I actually recommend that you save them in your source file folder and then move your images to your final web folder. Okay, so I'm going to double click on source files, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it slices. Okay, and within that slices folder is where I'm going to save out all of these images I just created. So I can go ahead and hit save, and there we go. So let's hide Photoshop here and look at our folder. So I'm going to open up this Graphic Design 66 folder. You can see that my slice folder right here, and if I open that, there is an images folder, and in that images folder indeed are all of the slices that we just made. Okay, so now I have all of the images that I need to create this page. And at this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move those up into my images folder. And again, the reason I like to temporarily save them out into my source file folder is that if for some reason you choose all slices instead of all user slices, and you get lots of miscellaneous slices that you don't need, it's easy for you to make sure that the only images that get put into your final web images folder are the ones you actually need. It's really important to keep your files clean and concise, so that's why I like to save them out in a separate file. But now I'm going to just move them up into my images. Okay, and now we have everything that we need for to build this page. Okay,